This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Paul Johnson, the CEO of Power Metal Resources, following news that you have disposed of your stake of the Kanye Resources joint venture to Kavango Resources. So what's the rationale behind this one, Paul?
Yeah, hello, Mark. That surprised a few, didn't it? It's very simple. We swapped a direct project stake for a significant equity exposure in the Kavango Resources stock. So we've been working with them for 2 years across Kanye. There is tremendous potential in the Kalahari Copper Belt and in the Ditau project. There is also tremendous potential in their KSZ interests. They are really the Botswana powerhouse. They have an operational team in country. They've been operating this joint venture since we started. And we're making a play, aren't we, really? We think that Kavango will find major metal discoveries. And by exposure for power to a significant amount of their stock, that can yield considerable returns. So let's put some metrics on it. 10 pence a share, Kavango, our holding will be worth £9 million. 20 pence a share, Kavango, our holding will be worth £21 million. It's a dramatic financial play. We have great confidence in the Kavango team and the work they've been doing. We've seen a lot, of course, with regard to the Kanye Resources ground and the potential it offers. And let's see what happens. I'm either right or wrong. And I suspect I'll be right.
Okay, well, yes, let's hope you are. So this is part of the crystallization that you've referred to a few times at Power Metal Resources. It's not that you weren't happy with the partnership. It's purely an investment play, really. With any investment, though, there must be risks associated with it. So, I mean, have you assessed the investment case?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been closely following Kavango since they started on the public markets. I've had experience of the potential that's offered if you have equity exposure in Botswana-focused companies. It can be dramatically company-changing if it goes well. It's all about the ground. And in this case, Kavango as a business proposition is made far stronger if they have 100% interests in all their projects. So we've effectively given them that 100% interest. And we are very optimistic about the future on that. We've been working well with them for 2 years. And you don't fall into love with any corporate structure or any partnerships. We're about making money. So this is a play to make money. And if we're right, we should make an awful lot of money. And if we're wrong, well, that's life. But I don't think we'll be wrong.
Okay, well, on that theme, then it is important. What you said at 20 pence the shares, your holdings worth what, 21 million? When do you look to crystallise that, Paul?
Well, we are effectively on this deal. It's conditional, I should say, to prospectus inclusion of the transaction. We are on a lock-in for the core stock, which is a 12-month lock-in. We can't sell unless we have Kavango approval, but we're not. Apart from the prospectus conditionality, we're not on a lock-in for the warrants. And we've got additional elements. We've got royalty, a 1% royalty across the projects, and also a sell-on premium. That's what they call the red face clause in case Kavango pulls something out and disposes for a large amount of money the project package. No, quite frankly, we don't think about selling, to be honest. Maybe that's crazy. Certainly is at the bottom of the market when you think, well, if I'd have sold X, we would have had Y. But I've been in this game long enough. These shares can outperform dramatically in a positive market. We'll deal with the selling issue when we come to that. At the moment, we are just planned long-term holders of Kavango, and we're waiting for those major discoveries.
Okay, excellent. Well, this presumably then allows you to focus down on your direct exploration project. We've talked about value crystallization, of course, the IPOs upcoming as well. So there is a lot in the Power portfolio. It's perhaps starting to see that, change a little bit now. So can you just run us through the portfolio and the projects, what stage they're at, and where the focus is going to be, particularly with the direct exploration projects that you have?
Yeah, remember, we're at the bottom of the market in terms of the junior resource sector. So everything you do, people criticize. I saw one reference to us being discombobulated. Now, you shouldn't say a word unless you can spell it, of course. But the reality is that this is what we laid out we would do. We would swell the portfolio. We've done that over 3 years. We would then start to focus down on corporate activity to crystallize value, to build the balance sheet, and then to focus down on the exploration projects where we have, an acute interest. And it seems to be aligning to a certain degree with, the large percentage holdings. So if we've got 100% on near two, we really want to crack on and focus on those. Same message for us as Kavango. If you hold 100%, it's a lot more powerful for the business and you get market recognition. So we've talked about uranium being a big interest for us, looking to build the uranium portfolio. We've got the big Athabasca interest, a huge ground holding, 450 square kilometers over 7 properties. That's got to be a focus for us. And again, there will be elements of corporate activity that may happen there, and elements of internal exploration. And then if you look, recently we announced about some initial interest in Togo, and we're looking at developing that as well. And there are other things that we're looking at in uranium. The energy metal is the metal of the future, and we think there aren't many companies that have a significant focus on uranium in the UK market. That will stand us out. And this is important because if we carry on doing the same thing forever of just building new acquisitions, commercial activity, all people do is look at your balance sheet and say, well, you were 50 million, your investments will discount you by 40% and give you a 30 million market cap. That's not what we want. We build the balance sheet to give us financial strength for the long term. Yeah, that's a great move. But then we now need to focus down on those exploration projects that really matter, uranium being one of them. So people can really start to focus on some of the individual projects. We have more time to talk about projects, to tell people why we're enthused and excited. We've gone through 18 months, Mark, where we put fantastic news announcements out and nobody sees it because we can't articulate fully. So alongside the uranium, we've got the Malopo Farms Complex project in Botswana, where we recently increased our stake, subject to local approvals, to circa 88%. And we need to focus on that. We found nickel sulfide in the second drill hole, for goodness sake. Major step forward for us. And we're, not bad. We're up to 1.7% nickel. We need to crack on with that project and do further work. We had the results from Tati with the gold found in one of our license areas, pegged another area next door with much stronger gold anomalies at surface. And we want to crack on and do further work there. A decent gold discovery in Botswana will arguably worth far more than our current market cap, and we need to focus on that. And there are other things across our portfolio. The new Ballarat Gold proposition in Victoria, Australia. We've taken that from a large license footprint applications through to the majority granted, which is a fantastic achievement. We've got a license recently granted, including the Ajax mine, which was a former high-grade gold mine, hundreds of thousands of ounces of gold at high grade that were produced historically. And we've just announced a deal to bring a second former high-grade gold mine, hundreds of thousands of ounces at Barenga at high-grade gold, into the portfolio at New Ballarat. That needs time and focus, and we need to take that forward. And we've talked about a planned IPO there. And that business proposition has come forward in leaps and bounds over the last year or so. Hardly any recognition for it. So I'm talking a lot. I'm excited about our business. We are crystallizing as we go, and we're building our balance sheet. But we are now narrowing down our time and our financial resources on the number of distinct project areas. And the market's going to start to hear a lot more about those project areas as we move forward.
Okay, excellent. And when do you expect to be in a position to start going down this route properly? Are we talking by the end of the summer, when the business year starts again in the autumn? Will Power be in a position?
No, we're doing it now. We do have a continual, feed of activity in our business. And I go back to that central thing. We said we will increase the portfolio over a period of time, and we did that. We would then seek opportunities for value crystallization, first-class metals disposal of our Schreiber Hemlo interest with an upcoming IPO, the IPOs of gold and metal, First Development Resources, and now the Kavango deal to vend back that joint venture interest to them for a large equity position. And there are other things that we're working on, as we've talked about. We're cracking on with narrowing down. We're doing lots of work on Malopo, lots of work on the uranium interests, lots of work on tartan. We're getting ourselves ready for the next exploration campaigns that will be happening as soon as we can make them happen. There's lots of things underway now. Nothing will wait in this business. We will push ahead, and the stories will get more detailed about our smaller, if I can use that phrase, not smaller in value, but smaller in number, portfolio of projects that we're exploring internally.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much, Paul Johnson, the CEO of Power Metal Resources, for taking time for us today.
Thank you, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.